not strong enough to isolate, but on the button versus a fish, strong enough to limp. Just check it, just check it. If it checks to me, I will indeed bet. If I bet all in ace queen when opponent is aggro, do you avoid gambling much as you can? Thanks for that follow. Good question, Green. So, do I avoid gambling? I think the best way to answer that would be to ask the question, well, what do you mean by gambling, right? If you mean by gambling doing something that over the long run works out in you losing, then no, that's a bad idea. You don't want to do that. I don't do things where I'm going to lose money in the long run. I do things where I'm going to win money in the long run, right? I mean, it depends how you, it really depends how you define gambling, because, you know, all of this is gambling, because there's, you know, there's chance involved, and it's a significant factor. I mean, I guess you could argue life is gambling in a way, but I think I know what you mean, and I don't, like, you could also say, do you avoid risky spots? It doesn't really matter how risky it is. It's all about whether you're going to win over the long run. And the phrase you'll hear a lot is it plus EV? Is it positive expected value? That's basically where people try to come up with an equation and solve for whether you're going to win over the long run. Sometimes that's easy, sometimes that's really, really hard, if not impossible. So I do things that are plus EV, where I think, I'm like, the best of my knowledge, my best guess is that, you know, if this situation came up a million times, I'd come out ahead. That's the key. And so that goes for everything. You know, that's a framework for answering all poker questions. Do you think it's plus EV? Do you think you're going to come out ahead over the long run? And whether I'm getting it in with, you asked about 5-betting ace queen, ace king, tens. Whether I'm getting it in with those hands, I mean, is your opponent consistently getting it in with ace 5, jack 7? Then yeah, those hands are all the nuts, right? If your opponent's a rock and he only ever gets in aces and kings, then no, I'm not getting in those hands. So, trying to estimate whether it's plus EV, or that sounds fancy. The simple way is trying to estimate whether it's profitable, right? Is really what you're trying to do based on all the information you have in front of you. Good question.